3 separate recall notices, one 24-hour window, and a pattern federal investigators have seen before at the exact same processing plant. Let's start with the beef. On August 7th, a Florida-based importer recalled nearly 30,000 pounds of raw beef imported from Argentina. The product reached distributors and retailers in Florida and Texas. Here's what makes this recall different from a contamination case. This isn't about salmonella or E. coli. It's about paperwork that never happened. Federal law requires imported meat to go through something called import reinspection, a checkpoint at the U.S. border where trained USDA inspectors physically examine and verify a sample of the shipment before it's allowed to enter American commerce. It's the last line of defense between a foreign processing plant and your dinner table. That checkpoint never occurred for this beef. Federal inspectors discovered the gap during a routine audit, not because anyone got sick and not because a lab flagged anything. No illnesses have been reported, but the language here matters, and it's worth sitting with for a second. Officials aren't saying the meat is contaminated. They're saying nobody verified that it isn't. Those are two very different claims, and the distinction is the entire story. The product carries freeze-by dates stretching into mid-September, meaning some of it is very likely still sitting in home freezers right now, weeks away from being cooked and served. Now the peppers, and this is where the story gets bigger than one recall. On August 8th, federal food safety officials issued a public health alert covering 18 separate meat and poultry products, all containing jalapeno peppers tied to a salmonella outbreak traced to a distributor sourcing from Sinaloa, Mexico. As of early August, that outbreak had sickened over 300 people across more than 24 states, with dozens hospitalized. The newly flagged products hit major grocery chains across more than 20 states, with use-by dates running through mid-August. Here's the detail investigators noticed that most coverage missed. The Texas processing plant tied to several of these products carries the same official establishment numbers as a separate salmonella alert from 2020 that one linked to recalled onions. Same plant, same 2 product lines, a Southwest-style salad with chicken. 6 years apart, the structure repeats almost exactly. A produce ingredient gets recalled by federal regulators upstream. A second agency then has to chase down every finished product built with that ingredient downstream, and consumers find out only after the product has already moved through the supply chain and landed in a shopping cart. It's not evidence of anything deliberate on the plant's part, because they're reacting to a contaminated ingredient they received, not manufacturing the problem themselves. But it is a pattern worth naming out loud, because it shows exactly how fragile the traceability chain still is, even 6 years and one pandemic later. And then there's a case out of the Midwest. On the same day as the pepper alert, a Chicago-based deli meat producer recalled over 3,200 pounds of ready-to-eat pastrami and corned beef over possible Listeria contamination. This one's rated the highest risk category federal inspectors use, reserved for situations with a reasonable probability of serious health consequences or death. The products were all produced on a single day in mid-July and carry a 60-day shelf life, meaning some of it stays good on paper into mid-September. It's shipped first to food service locations in 3 Midwest states, then nationwide. Listeria is a different threat profile than salmonella. It doesn't always cause obvious symptoms right away, sometimes taking weeks to surface, and it disproportionately endangers pregnant women, older adults, and anyone immunocompromised. In pregnancy, it can cause miscarriage, stillbirth, or a life-threatening newborn infection. Deli meat is one of the classic vehicles for it, which is exactly why ready-to-eat products like this get the strictest handling standards anywhere in the federal food safety system. So what do you actually do with all this? If you've bought imported beef with those September freeze-by dates, throw it out or return it. The safety question here is unresolved, not confirmed clean. If you've picked up a prepared salad with chicken from a major grocery chain in the past week, check the use-by date carefully before you eat it. And if pastrami or corned beef in your fridge traces back to that Midwest recall, treat it as a real Listeria risk, especially if anyone in your household is pregnant, elderly, or immunocompromised. None of these 3 cases have confirmed illnesses tied to them yet. That's not the same as nothing happening. It's the system working exactly as it's supposed to, catching the gap before the outbreak, not after it. If this kind of tracing helps you stay ahead of what's actually in your kitchen, that's exactly why this channel exists. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one, and drop a like if you want more of this.